already entangled in the reactions of such way. So there is no work which affects Krishna. There is no desire for any fruits of actions. Whoever knows this, Krishna very clearly says, that person is freed from all fruitive reactions. Gaurang, read.
Namam karmani limpanti, name karma phale spriha, iti mam yobijanati, karma bir na sabhadyate. Translation: There is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. Purport: As there are constitutional laws in the material world stating that the king can do no wrong, or that the king is not subject to the state laws, similarly, the Lord, although he is the creator of this material world, is not affected by the activities of the material world. He creates and remains aloof from the creation, whereas the living entities are entangled in the fruitive results of material activities because of their propensity for lording it over material resources. The proprietor of an establishment is not responsible for the right and wrong activities of the workers, but the workers are themselves responsible. The living entities are engaged in their respective activities of sense gratification, and these activities are not ordained by the Lord. For advancement of sense gratification, the living entities are engaged in the work of this world, and they aspire to heavenly happiness after death. The Lord, being full in himself, has no attraction for so-called heavenly happiness. The heavenly demigods are only his engaged servants. The proprietor never desires the low-grade happiness, such as the workers may desire. He is aloof from the material actions and reactions. For example, the rains are not responsible for different types of vegetation that appear on earth, although without such rains, there is no possibility of vegetative growth. Vedic Smriti confirms this fact as follows: Nimitta matram evaso srijyanam sarga karmani pradana karani bhuta yato vai srijya shaktaya. In the material creations, the Lord is only the supreme cause. The immediate cause is material nature, by which the cosmic manifestation is made visible. The created beings are of many varieties, such as the demigods, human beings, and lower animals, and all of them are subject to the reactions of their past good or bad activities. The Lord only gives them the proper facilities for such activities and the regulations of the modes of nature, but He is never responsible for their past and present activities. In the Vedanta Sutra 2.1.34, it is confirmed: Vaishamya nirgunye na sapekshatvat. The Lord is never partial to any living entity. The living entity is responsible for his own acts. The Lord only gives him facilities through the agency of material nature, the external energy. Anyone who is fully conversant with all the intricacies of this law of karma or fruitive activities does not become affected by the results of his activities. In other words, the person who understands this transcendental nature of the Lord is an experienced man in Krishna consciousness, and thus he is never subjected to the laws of karma. One who does not know the transcendental nature of the Lord, and who thinks that the activities of the Lord are aimed at fruitive results, as are the activities of the ordinary living entities, certainly becomes entangled himself in fruitive reactions. But one who knows the supreme truth is a liberated soul fixed in Krishna consciousness. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Next verse. एवं ज्ञात्वा कृतं कर्म पूर्वैरपि मुमुक्षुभिः कुरु कर्मैव तस्मात् त्वं पूर्वै पूर्वतरं कृतम् एवं ज्ञात्वा कृतं कर्म पूर्वैरपि मुमुक्षुभिः कुरु कर्मैव तस्मात् त्वं पूर्वै पूर्वतरं कृतम्. So in the past also many liberated souls, all the liberated souls, not many, all the liberated souls, mumukshubhi, they acted with this understanding. Evam gyatva kritam karma. They performed their work with this gyatva. Gyatva means with this understanding. who Purvai, the past authorities. And thus they attained liberation. Kuru Karmatvam, they perform their prescribed duties with this understanding. Therefore, you should perform your duty. So karma. Kuru karma means perform your duty, and then tasmat tvam purvahi purvataram kritam. How they did the same way, you also do. That means follow in their footsteps. So those who are liberated souls, they perform with this understanding that they know my transcendental nature. That is what Krishna is trying to say here. They know my transcendental nature. That though Krishna has created this Varana and Ashrama, Varanas means the prescribed duties, Krishna is not bound by the prescribed duties, nor he aspires for any fruitive results. Okay. Sonal, read.
Mataji Dandvat Pranam. Text number 15. Evam jnatva kritam karma purvairapi mumukshubhihi kuru karmaiva tasmatvam purvaihi purvataram kritam. Translations and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charana Ravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. All the liberated souls in ancient times acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature. Therefore, you should perform your duty following in their footsteps. Purport. There are two classes of men. Some of them are full of polluted material things within their heart, and some of them are materially free. Krishna consciousness is equally beneficial for both of these persons. Those who are full of dirty things can take to the line of Krishna consciousness for a gradual cleansing process, following the regulative principles of devotional service. Those who are already cleansed of the impurities may continue to act in the same Krishna consciousness so that others may follow the exemplary activities and thereby be benefited. Foolish persons or neophytes in Krishna consciousness often want to retire from activities without having knowledge of Krishna consciousness. Arjuna's desire to retire from activities on the battlefield was not approved by the Lord. One need only know how to act. To retire from the activities of Krishna consciousness and to sit aloof, making a show of Krishna consciousness is less important than actually engaging in the field of activities for the sake of Krishna. Arjuna is here advised to act in Krishna consciousness, following in the footsteps of the Lord's previous disciples, such as the sun god Vivaswan, as mentioned herein before. The Supreme Lord knows all his past activities as well as those of persons who acted in Krishna consciousness in the past. Therefore, he recommends the acts of the sun god, who learned this art from the Lord some millions of years before. All such students of Lord Krishna are mentioned here as past liberated persons engaged in the discharge of duties allotted by Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Mm. One second. Now Krishna says, now you decide what is karma, what is wow. Now next verse you see, very beautiful verse. Just typing one message, just give me 1 minute. The important message which I have to send. Okay. Let us see the next verse. What does the next verse speak? Kim karma kim karmeti kavayopi atra mohitaah tatte karma pravakshami yajgyatva mokshase shubha. So even the intelligent people are bewildered. Mohitaha. Kavayo api atraha. Kavayo means intelligent. In this matter, atraha, they are also bewildered. In what matter? What is karma? What is akarma? What is action? What is inaction? Even intelligent people are bewildered. Tatte karma pravakshami. So that is why I will explain to you pravakshami. What is karma? And after knowing this, tajgyatva moksha se ashubha. From the ill fortune, you will be completely liberated. So Krishna says, I will teach you what is karma, what is akarma. After knowing that, you will be completely free. So even the intelligent people are also bewildered. Krishna says, even the intelligent people are also bewildered regarding what is karma, what is akarma. Okay, Gayatri, please read.
Hare Krishna. किं कर्मेति कवयोऽप्यत्र मोहिताः तत्ते कर्म प्रवक्ष्यामि यज्ञात्वा मोक्ष्यसे शुभात्. Translation: even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all misfortune. Purport: action in Krishna consciousness has to be executed in accord with the examples of previous bona fide devotees. This is recommended in the 15th verse. Why such action should not be independent will be explained in the text to follow. To act in Krishna consciousness, one has to follow the leadership of authorized persons who are in a line of disciplic succession as explained in the beginning of this chapter. The system of Krishna consciousness was first narrated to the sun god. The sun god explained it to his son Manu. Manu explained it to his son Ikshvaku, and the system is current on this earth from that very remote time. Therefore, one has to follow in the footsteps of previous authorities in the line of disciplic succession. Otherwise, even the most intelligent men will be bewildered regarding the standards, actions of Krishna consciousness. For this reason, the Lord decided to instruct Arjuna in Krishna consciousness directly. Because of the direct instruction of the Lord to Arjuna, anyone who follows in the footsteps of Arjuna is certainly not bewildered. It is said that one cannot ascertain the ways of religion simply by imperfect experimental knowledge. Actually, the principles of religion can only be laid down by the Lord Himself. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad pranitam. No one can manufacture a religious principle by imperfect speculation. One must follow in the footsteps of great authorities like Brahma, Shiva, Narada, Manu, and the Kumaras, Kapila, Prahlad, Bhishma, Shukadev Goswami, Yamraj, Janak, and Bali Maharaj. By mental speculation, one cannot ascertain what is religion or self realization. Therefore, out of causeless mercy to his devotees, the Lord explains directly to Arjuna what action is and what inaction is. Only action performed in Krishna consciousness can deliver a person from the entanglement of material existence. Hare Krishna.
Next. कर्मणो ह्यपि बोद्धव्यं बोद्धव्यं च विकर्मणः अकर्मणश्च बोद्धव्यं गहना कर्मणो गतिः कर्मणो ह्यपि बोद्धव्यं च विकर्मणः. So know what is action, what is forbidden action, forbidden work, vikarmanah. Akarmanascha bodhavyam, know what is in action, gahana karmano gatihi. Very difficult to understand. What is action, what is vikarmaha, karma, vikarma, akarma. Three things have been spoken. Karma, vikarma, akarma. One karma which is prescribed in the Vedas, vikarma which is not prescribed, and akarma for which there is no result. It is beyond. So Krishna says there are three types of actions: karma, vikarma, akarma. Okay, Rijit Prabhu, read.
Hare Krishna. कर्मण्यो ह्यपि बोधव्यं च विकर्मणः अकर्मणश्च बोधव्यं गहन कर्मणो गति. The intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is and what forbidden action is and what inaction is. Purport. In If one is serious about liberation from material bondage, one has to understand the distinctions between action, inaction, and unauthorized actions. One has to apply oneself to such an analysis of action, reaction, and perverted actions because it is very difficult subject matter. To understand Krishna consciousness and action according to its modes, one has to learn one's relationship with the Supreme. That is, one who has learned perfectly knows that every living entity is an eternal servitor of the Lord, and that consequently one has to act in Krishna consciousness. The entire Bhagavad Gita is directed towards this conclusion. Any other conclusions against its consciousness and its attendant actions are vikarmanas, or prohibited actions. To understand all this, one has to associate with the authorities in Krishna consciousness and learn the secret from them. This is as good as learning from the Lord directly. Otherwise, even the most intelligent persons will be bewildered. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Let us see the next one. My voice is audible, na? Because I am not seeing, I have to see this. My book is
Yes,
still in.
Mataji.
Yeah.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. कर्मणि कर्मण्यकर्म यः पश्येत् अकर्मणि च कर्म यः स बुद्धिमान् मनुष्येषु स युक्तः कृष्णकर्मकृत्. Very important verse. Karmani akarma yah pashyet. One who sees in action, in action. Wow. And then what? Akarmani cha karma yah. And action in inaction is intelligent among men. And then sabuddhiman manushyeshu. So that person is very intelligent. Sa yuktah krishna karma krit. In this way he is yukta. He is transcendental. He is in transcendental position. So how to understand this verse? This should be understood by taking two examples. One is Grahastha's example and one is Brahmachari or Sannyasi's example. One who is seeing in action, karmani, akarma, akarmani, karma. The two things are that karmani, akarma. He is performing action, but he is in inaction. That means what? He is giving everything to Lord. He is connecting everything to Krishna. That is why, though he is performing action, he is in inaction. That means he is not aspiring for any fruits. That is a Grahastha example. So, what is a Grahastha's example? Karmani, akarma. Now, akarmani karma, though he should not do any work, sannyasi means what? He should not do any work. Brahmachari means what? He has given up the work, na? But still he is doing full time all the work. He is taking many responsibilities. So that responsibility he is taking for Krishna. Like Prabhupada, he took sannyas, he should be peaceful, sitting in Vrindavan. Why did he travel all the way? Actually, sannyasis should not travel. They should not cross the ocean. They should not light the fire. According to karma sannyas, why did he travel? He is a karmani, na? He should not do anything. But still he is doing karma. What is that karma? That is connected to Krishna. And a grahastha, morning to evening he is working. Then the fruits of the actions is giving it to Krishna. He is eager to serve Krishna. Like donations, you can say, bringing fruits, bringing vegetables in the house, offering to Krishna. Not that. Everything you're giving 100% to temple, that cannot happen. No? You have to stay in the house, you have to maintain the house. In that house, you're sitting and chanting. That is also akarmani only. Na? Though karma, karmani, you're doing akarma. You're waking up in the morning, you're chanting, you're reading, you're paying the phone bill. That is why you're able to hear the classes. No? So many things are there. Sometimes we think, okay, everything to 100% to Krishna, yes, 100% only, but in different ways. In different ways, you're connected to Krishna. So if a brahmachari thinks, hey, grahastha narak mein jayenge, पूरा दिन काम करते हैं. That is why the temple is maintained. Na? And if the grahasthas go to the temple and think, oh, this brahmachari, he is sitting in the Govindas and having prasad, who is cultivating some devotee there. So do not find a fault in the brahmacharis, and brahmacharis should not find fault in the grahasthas. They both work interdependently. Grahasthas should maintain the brahmacharis, and brahmacharis should guide the grahasthas. It is the work of the brahmachari and the sannyasi to guide the grahasthas, and it is the duty of the grahasthas to protect the temple, to maintain the brahmacharis and the sannyasis. Simple. Okay. So Anupama, read.
कर्मण्यकर्म यः पश्येद कर्मणि च कर्म यः स बुद्धिमान् मनुष्येषु स युक्तः कृत्स्न कर्म कृत्. Translation: One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men, and he is in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. Purport: A person acting in Krishna consciousness is naturally free from bonds of karma. His activities are all performed for Krishna. Therefore, he does not enjoy or suffer any of the effects of work. Consequently, he is intelligent in human society, even though he is engaged in all sorts of activities for Krishna. Akarma means without reaction to work. The impersonalist ceases fruitive activities out of fear, so that the resultant action may not be stumbling block on the path of self-realization, but the personalist knows rightly his position as the eternal servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he engages himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness. Because everything is done for Krishna, he enjoys only transcendental happiness in the discharge of his service. Those who are engaged in this process are known to be without desire for personal sense gratification. The sense of eternal servitorship to Krishna makes one immune to all sorts of reactionary elements of work. Hare Krishna.
So with a good vision, one should serve Lord, interdependent on each other. Next. यस्य सर्वे समारंभा कामसङ्कल्पवर्जिताः ज्ञानाग्निदग्धकर्माणं तमाहो पंडितं बुधः. So yasya sarve samaram. Start, attempt all the work. How? Kama sankalpa varjita. Be free from the desire for sense gratification. Kama sankalpa varjita. Jnanagni dagdha karmani. So with that knowledge, you burn. The knowledge itself is an agni that will burn all the karmic reactions. Karmanam tam ahu panditam buddha. In this way, a knowledgeable person, he knows. He is a sage to be a worker who knows, for whom the reactions of work have been burned by the fire of perfect knowledge. So this knowledge is compared to Jnanagni Dagdha Karmanam. Jnanagni, Agni. This Jnana is Agni. And this Agni can burn all the karmic reactions. And the sage of perfect understanding, he knows this. That is why this knowledge is very important. Jnana Karma Yoga. We are in Jnana Karma Yoga. So Krishna is not bound by any fruitive reactions. At the same time, whoever works for Krishna is also not bound by any fruitive reactions, because he's connecting everything to Krishna. Okay? We will read Anshul Prabhu. Read.
जी बात है। यस्य सर्वे समारंभा काम संकल्प वर्जिता ज्ञानाग्नि दग्ध कर्माणं तमाहु पंडित बुधा. One who is understood to be in full knowledge, whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. He is said by sages to be a worker for whom the reactions of work has been burned up by the fire of perfect knowledge. Purport: only a person in full knowledge can understand the activities of person in Krishna consciousness, because the person in Krishna consciousness is devoid of all kinds of sense gratificatory propensities. It is to be understood that he has burned up the reactions of his work by perfect knowledge of his constitutional position as the eternal servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is actually learned who is attained to such perfection of knowledge. Development of this knowledge of eternal servitorship to the Lord is compared to fire. Such a fire, once kindled, can burn up all kinds of reactions to work.
What happened? Over?
So,
Voice. Next. Where you read? Last line you read? Any action therefore devoid of Krishna consciousness is binding upon the worker. And that is the real aspect of vikarma I explained here in before. I don't think you have read the full thing. You read the full?
Yes,
I read
Mataji, 19th verse.
Yes, I'm sorry. Such a fire, once kindled, can burn up all kinds of reactions to
all
work.
kinds of
Okay.
reaction to work. Yes, I read this line.
Next one. त्यक्त्वा कर्मफलासङ्गं नित्यतृप्तो निराश्रयः कर्मणि अभिप्रवृत्तोऽपि नैव किञ्चित् करोति सः. त्यक्त्वा कर्मफलासङ्गं. Once a person gives attachment to the fruitive results, he is nityatripta, he is always satisfied. Nirashraya. He doesn't need any shelter. That means he is independent. So when we talk about independence, Independence Day, we generally speak this. When you can call yourself independent, when you are not depending on anything, when you are not taking anything as a shelter. Now, if we take tea and coffee as shelter, can we call ourselves independent? Now, though the Britishers have left, they have given their culture and gone, and we are still following their culture. Nirashraya. Nirashraya means is completely independent. Karmani abhipravrittaha. In this way, he is performing the duties. But na eva kinchit karoti saha. Though he performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings. He is doing everything at the same time, he is not performing any fruitive action. He is abandoning all the results of the activities. He is all the time satisfied, he is independent. He is doing all the work. At the same time, he has no desire for the fruits of the work. It is also very important. Doing all the work, at the same time, no desire for the fruits. Because he has completely given up the fruits. Chandrapati Prabhu, can you read? Sonal, you read?
Yeah. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. Text
Sorry,
number
I'm
20. Yeah, I'll read,
Read
Prabhu.
only this.
No problem, I'll read. Text 20. त्यक्त्वा कर्मफलासङ्गं नित्यतृप्तो निराश्रयः कर्मण्यभिप्रवृत्तोऽपि नैव किञ्चित् करोति सः. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Abandoning all attachment to the results of his activities, ever satisfied and independent, he performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings. This freedom from the bondage of actions is possible only in Krishna consciousness, when one is doing everything for Krishna. A Krishna conscious person acts out of pure love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore he has no attraction for the results of the action. He is not even attached to his personal maintenance, for everything is left to Krishna. Nor is he anxious to secure things, nor to protect things already in his possession. He does his duty to the best of his ability and leaves everything to Krishna. Such an unattached person is always free from the resultant reactions of good and bad. It is as though he were not doing anything. This is the sign of akarma, or actions without fruitive reactions. Any other action, therefore, devoid of Krishna consciousness, is binding upon the worker, and that is the real aspect of vikarma, as explained herein before. Thank you, Hari.
Okay, next. निराशीर्यत चित्तात्मा त्यक्त सर्व परिग्रह शारीरं केवलं कर्म कुर्वन्नाप्नोति किल्बिषम् निराशीर no asha nirashir yata chittatma he has no desire for the result at the same time chitta atmaha that means his mind and intelligence are completely controlled yata means controlled mind and intelligence Tyakta, he has given up sarva parigraha all the sense of proprietorship over possessions. He is just working to keep his body and soul together. Shariram kevalam karma. Kurvan napnoti kilbisham. That is why he will never occur any skillful reactions. So his mind and intelligence is fixed. He has controlled his mind and intelligence. He is working just to keep his body and soul together. Shariram kevalam karma. That is why he is free from all the sinful reactions. Gaurang read.
निराशीर्यत चित्तात्मा त्यक्ता सर्व परिग्रह शरीरम केवलम कर्म कुर्वन्नाप्नोति किल्बिषम्. Such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence, perfectly controlled, gives up all sense proprietorship over his possessions, and acts only for the bare necessities of life. Thus working, he is not affected by sinful reactions. Report. A Krishna conscious person does not expect good or bad results in his activities. His mind and intelligence are fully controlled. He knows that because he is part and parcel of the Supreme, the part played by him as a part and parcel of the whole is not his own activity, but is only being done through him by the Supreme. When the hand moves, it does not move out of its own accord, but by endeavor of the whole body. A Krishna conscious person is always dovetailed with the Supreme desire, but he has no desire for personal sense gratification. He moves exactly like a part of a machine, as a machine part requires oiling and cleaning for maintenance. So a Krishna conscious man maintains himself by his work just to remain fit for action in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. He is therefore immune to all the reactions of his endeavors. Like an animal, he has no proprietorship even over his own body. A cruel proprietor of an animal sometimes kills the animals in his possession, yet the animal does not protest, nor does it have any real independence. A Krishna conscious person fully engaged in self realization has very little time to falsely possess any material object. For maintaining body and soul, he does not require unfair means of accumulating money. He does not therefore become contaminated by such material sins. He is free from all reactions to his actions. Hare Krishna.
Chapter 22nd verse now. यदृच्छालाभसन्तुष्टो द्वन्द्वातीतो विमत्सरः समः सिद्धावसिद्धौ च कृत्वापि न निबध्यते. Again, what is his nature? He is not hankering for any gain. Out of its own accord, some labha santushtah, something gain comes, he is satisfied. Dvandva atitoho, he has come out of all this dvandva. What is a dvandva? Good, bad, success, failure. He is vimatsaraha, he is free from all the enviousness. Oh, he has got this, I should also get. No competition, no enviousness. Sama siddhava siddhaucha, he is equal in siddha success, asiddha failure. Kritvapi na nibatyate, that person will never be affected. So whatever comes on his own accord, he accepts it. He is not running behind anything. At the same time, he has no enviousness, no competition, no enviousness. He is satisfied with what he has. In both the situations, he is peaceful, success, failure. The problem is when we look at others. If we look at Lord, then there is no problem. If we go on looking at others, and this is all what we teach our children also, how much mark your friend has got, what it has to do with you. Just see, the parents ask, na, how much marks your friend has got. Let him get, na, it is his karma. He has studied good, then he will get good. He has studied bad, he will not get good marks. And anyhow, everybody has his own karmas. I still remember there was a boy in my son's class. They're all small children, just second standard or third standard. And teachers to complain me, your son always does something or the other mischief. He puts his compass down and he goes on picking up the pencils and he is disturbing the class also, he is disturbing everyone. I told Nikhil, why are you doing this? He said, actually, I'm not doing, my partner does. I asked that person, that boy, his name was Harsh. Hey Harsh, what are you doing? Do you drop his pencil? Yeah, my mother told. You drop his pencil box so that he will be distracted from the class studies and he will go on picking up the pencil. In this way, he will not get first rank, you will get the first rank. Now just see how they teach. And afterwards, my son, he went in IIT, PhD, he did. Whatever he has done, everybody does according to their karmas. What is the competition? If the same competition is done by the children, oh papa, how much you are earning, see other person how much he is earning. See, in childhood we teach all these things, but when they grow big, everybody has their own faculty. Everybody succeeds in their own faculty. Whatever, there may be success, there may be failure. Somebody's income is high, somebody's income is less. That time why we are not comparing? That time we say no, you should not talk like this. You should be happy with what your father earns. Then you should also be happy with what the child gets. Why compare? The most hopeless thing which a mother teaches, how much your friend got. Never ever ask this. The moment you ask this, you are putting the enviousness in the heart. This is a seed of enviousness which is put in the heart of the children. Let them study, let them study. See what your child has got. That is more important. How to improvise your child? Do that. But that doesn't mean that you compare with somebody and then improvise. No, on your own, if you want to improvise your child. They are read 4.22.
हरे कृष्ण यदर्चालाभसन्तुष्टो द्वन्द्वतीतो विमत्सरा समासिद्धौ असिद्धौ च कृत्वापि न निबध्यते. He who is satisfied with gain, which comes of its own accord, who is free from duality, and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled, although performing actions. Purport: a Krishna conscious person does not make much endeavor even to maintain his body. He is satisfied with gains which are obtained of their own accord. He neither begs nor borrows, but he labors honestly as far as is in his power, and is satisfied with whatever is obtained by his own honest labor. He is therefore independent in his livelihood. He does not allow anyone's service to hamper his own service in Krishna consciousness. However, for the service of the Lord, he can participate in any kind of action without being disturbed by the duality of the material world. The duality of the material world is felt in terms of heat and cold, or misery and happiness. A Krishna conscious person is above duality because he does not hesitate to act in any way for the satisfaction of Krishna. Therefore, he is steady both in success and in failure. These signs are visible when one is fully in transcendental knowledge. Hare Krishna.
Next. गतसङ्गस्य मुक्तस्य ज्ञानावस्थितचेतसः ज्ञानयाचरतः कर्म समग्रं प्रविलीयते. Gata gata means unattached. Sangasya, to the modes of nature. Muktasya, that is why he is mukta. He is unattached to the three modes of nature. Jnanavastitaha. So what is the benefit of situated in the transcendence or in the knowledge? He becomes free from the modes of material nature. His wisdom, jnana, chetasaha, jnanaya, acharataha. He is doing the work for yajna. He does the work as a sacrifice, or for the sake of Krishna. Acharatah, in this way he is working samagram praviliyate. In this way he will completely merge into transcendence. So the work of a man who is unattached to the modes of material nature, who is fully satisfied in transcendental knowledge, merges entirely into transcendence. So how a person's work is purified? The person's work is purified by understanding the knowledge, and by this knowledge he is freed from the three modes of material nature. That is why the work also becomes spiritualized, and in this way it enters the transcendence. Okay. Vijit Prabhu read.
गतसङ्गस्य मुक्तस्य ज्ञानावस्थितचेतसः यज्ञायाचारतः कर्म समग्रं प्रविलीयते. The work of a man who is unattached to the modes of material nature and who is fully situated in transcendental knowledge merges entirely into transcendence. Purport. Becoming fully Krishna conscious, one is freed from all dualities and thus is free from the contaminations of the material modes. He can become liberated because he knows his constitutional position in relationship with Krishna, and thus his mind cannot be drawn from Krishna consciousness. Consequently, whatever he does for Krishna, who is primeval Vishnu. Therefore, all his works are technically sacrifices because sacrifice aims at satisfying the Supreme Person Vishnu Krishna. The resultant reactions to all such work certainly merge into transcendence, and one does not suffer material effects. Hare Krishna.
ब्रह्मार्पणं ब्रह्महवि ब्रह्माग्नो ब्रह्मणाहुतं ब्रह्मैव तेन गन्तव्यं ब्रह्म कर्म समाधिना. How our work can be spiritualized? This is the verse. This is the verse which is also spoken by the Sri Vaishnavas when they take Mahaprasad. We say na Mahaprasade Govinde. Sri Vaishnavas, they chant this verse. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi Brahmagno Brahmanahutam Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. Let us understand this word. There are 6 aspects here. Brahma Arpanam. Arpanam means giving. Brahmahavi. What you are giving. To whom you are giving. What you are giving. Brahmagno, in the fire. There is a person to whom you give and then he puts in the fire. What you give, who puts, in what he puts. Brahmanahutam, who is giving. So in these 3 aspects have come. Not 3, 4, 3 has come. Whom you gave, what you gave, where he has put, and who has given. 4 aspects have come. Brahmeva tena gantavyam. What is the purpose? To attain the spiritual world. Then the whole karma is Brahma karma samadhina. Whole karma is purified. Very important verse. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi Brahmagnam Brahmanahutam Brahmeva tena gantavyam Brahma karma samadhina. 6 aspects are there. If these 6 aspects are spiritual, everything is spiritual. Who is taking the donation? Okay. What you are giving in the donation? Who is giving? Who is taking? What is the ultimate fire where it is going? Okay. What is the purpose? To attain spiritual world or progress in spirituality. Then the whole work is spiritual. Like Prabhupada missionary task. Then that is the fire. Missionary task is the fire. Whoever is taking should be very pure. He should not touch 1 rupee. If he has taken it, he should not take for himself. Who is giving should give without pride. Oh, I have given. No. And then the fire is the missionary task. And then the purpose is to progress. Then the whole process is spiritualized. When you are sitting for the yajna, there is a pandit who does swaha on your behalf. Swaha, he tells you to do swaha, he tells a mantra, he gives you the butter, or maybe he may be putting the butter. Swaha. And then there is Hutam, the person who is doing. Arpanam, who is doing that Arpana. Then there is a fire, Agni. There is a Hutam. There is Havi. Havi means whatever you put, jaw, that is Havi. Ghee, that is Havi. First you do put jaw and then you put ghee, isn't it? The ghee is Havi. Purpose is to satisfy Yekya Purushaha. And the whole process becomes spiritualized. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi, Brahmagno Brahmanahutam, Brahmeva tena gantavyam, Brahma Krama Samardham. These words you should memorize. Actually, now, why Sri Vaishnavas chant this verse? Okay. Because when they are taking Mahaprasad, who has cooked? Okay. Then Agni is in your stomach. Jathar Agni. Who is taking that? Who is putting? Somebody is putting in your plate, na? Then that thing you are putting inside. Somebody must have sponsored. Somebody must have cooked. What is the purpose? Then the whole thing should be spiritualized. That is why everybody chants this verse. Like we say Mahaprasade Govinde, they chant this verse. Okay. Anupamari, we'll do one more verse and stop.
ब्रह्मार्पणं ब्रह्महविर्ब्रह्माग्नौ ब्रह्मणा स्फुतं ब्रह्मैव तेन गन्तव्यं ब्रह्म कर्म समाधिना. A person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of his full contribution to spiritual activities, in which the consummation is absolute and that is which is offered is of the same spiritual nature. Purport. How activities in Krishna consciousness can lead one ultimately to the spiritual goal is described here. There are various activities in Krishna consciousness, and all of them will be described in the following verses. But for the present, just the principle of Krishna consciousness is described. A conditioned soul, entangled in material contamination, is sure to act in the material atmosphere, and yet he has to get out of such an environment. The process by which the conditioned soul can get out of the material atmosphere is Krishna consciousness. For example, a patient who is suffering from a disorder of bowels due to overindulgence in milk products is cured by another milk product, namely curd. The materially absorbed conditioned soul can be cursed by Krishna consciousness, cured by Krishna consciousness, as set forth here in the Gita. This process is generally known as yajna or activities, sacrifices, simply meant for the satisfaction of Vishnu or Krishna. The more the activities of the material world are performed in the Krishna consciousness or for Vishnu only, the more the atmosphere becomes spiritualized by complete absorption. The word Brahma, Brahman, means spiritual. The Lord is spiritual, and the rays of his transcendental body are called Brahma Jyoti. His spiritual effulgence. Everything that exists is situated in that Brahma Jyoti. But when the Jyoti is covered by illusion, Maya, or sense gratification, it is called material. This material veil can be removed at once by Krishna consciousness. Thus, the offering for the sake of Krishna consciousness, the consuming agent of such an offering or contribution, the process of consumption, the contributor, and the results are all combined together, Brahman or the absolute truth. The absolute truth covered by Maya is called matter. Matter, dovetailed for the cause of absolute truth, regains a spiritual quality. Krishna consciousness is the process of converting the illusory consciousness into Brahman or Supreme. When the mind is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness, it is said to be in samadhi or trance. Anything done in such transcendental consciousness is called yajna or sacrifice for the absolute. In that condition of spiritual consciousness, the contributor, the contribution, the consumption, the performer or leader of the performance, and the result or ultimate gain, everything becomes one in the absolute, the supreme Brahman. That is the method of Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
We'll stop here. But other verses are little nice. We'll discuss and do. There's no hurry. We'll meet next Monday. Okay. Hare Krishna. Manchakal Kataru Vyasya Kripa Sindhu Devacha.